you will begin to know that the realm that you currently observe as 3D is much more connected to your perception than you currently understand. And I'll give you an example, for instance. What could be a new sense, a different sense that you have not yet considered to be a sense? I'm going to think about one here, one out of these 12, and the first one I would think of right now, because of the act of thinking, is thinking itself. Thinking is a human sense. This is a very interesting idea, because if you tie the idea of thinking as a sense to the knowledge of your senses that you have so far, then this means that the sense of thinking simply shows you the way reality at this moment of its creation is. The sense of sight, for instance, translates for you the vibrations that your brain can manage with the active or non-active pineal lobe, if you will, and shows you how reality is shaped around you. You can literally see it. The sense of touch then allows you to touch it, and the sense of smell allows you to smell it, and so your reality is formed. But the sense of thought simply means the same thing. This makes your thoughts a very different creature than what you previously have conceived it as. It simply means that a thought is a translation of your current universe coming into you, much in the same way that eyesight, for instance, would come into you and give you a perception of your reality paradigm. Thoughts are simply frequencies attracted to move into a vibrational realm, which you are. You are the vibrational realm, attracting thoughts as translations of what simply is around you. So thoughts then can become, let's think of the animal known as a bat, for instance, who uses radar to perceive what is around it. Thoughts are the same thing. So if you feel certain thoughts coming into your field, coming into your head, then you can observe them as a barometer of the reality you are in. This makes thoughts very impersonal, really. It simply makes them, it simply makes them a perception of your reality. And it shows you, just like eyesight, that that path over there, where there is a fire, is not the best one to travel to. This is what the sense of sight and smell, for instance, would tell you if you are on a crossroads and there is a traffic accident over there and you do not choose to move into it. And yet, when you have one of these thoughts that basically indicates a traffic accident of frequency in your reality, you move into it. You choose to go there. And then you wonder, and this is very basic stuff, guys. This is very basic information. You choose to wonder why you create more of it. And then some of you out there would say, oh, but if I see a traffic accident, I want to help. Yes, but there is a difference between helping and getting caught up in a reality. There would be no point to move into a traffic jam and a traffic accident at the front of the traffic jam and walk up to the person who is hurt, and then when you, instead of helping that person, choose to hit your own head on the dashboard so you too are now in pain, you really are not much of an assistance to that person. And yet that is what you do all the time. Humans do this all the time. They feel a thought realm somewhere out there, and usually a negative one, and they move into it, and they become that. They become that thought. They become that sense of thinking. Instead of them being in control of the awareness that thinking is merely a translator of the reality you are currently in, you start to become that thought. And slowly you start creating more of the same. Unfortunately, this is so. And this is a new way of looking at thoughts here. Because we have always said, and so many with me have always said, that thoughts are simply generated by the mind. But what happens in an angelic realm that is about to be born right here? What happens if there is no mind? What happens if the sacred mind has already been birthed and now occupies a different space where it sovereignly executes its own evolution? Then these thoughts, this sense of thinking, will no longer be picking up your mind, but simply will be picking up the reality around you. And it will become so much easier to change these thoughts. It becomes so much easier to stop the process of going through the thoughts. This is why already a little while ago, many of us have told you to stop processing, to stop looping, and simply to make a choice to move out of a certain range of thoughts. It is that simple, really. And thoughts, however, have dominated you for so long. That is why there is such a fascination to it. That is why there is such a attraction to go there, to move there, to become it. But simply understanding that thinking is but a sense, such as eyesight, then you begin to choose the beautiful thoughts, to focus on that aspect of reality. Much like if you have an ugly painting, for instance, and a more beautiful painting on the other side of the wall, you're not going to be watching the ugly painting. Your eyes are going to drift to what you think is beautiful. Start treating your own thoughts that way, and very quickly they will become as impersonal to you as the ugly painting. And maybe when the ugly painting is not observed, but a more beautiful painting is observed, these thoughts will start to move away. So thinking being a sense. It is not my point tonight to move into the idea of thinking as a sense and to explore that too deeply, because this is something we will do at another point. The sense that I would like to discuss tonight is the sense of time, and connected to that, the sense of acceleration. Now, acceleration itself is not a sense. It is the result of a sense. Time, being a sense, can also, as I explained already with thinking, be observed as a very impersonal thing, and yet you have a very, very close connection to the sense of time. You have a very close relationship to it, because at current, with most people on Earth, it dominates your entire reality. It completely takes you in its grip and tells you where you have to be at what given point. And again, this is as ridiculous to the evolved version of yourself as it would be with the sense of thinking. Think about it. Time, seen as something outside of you, is simply a translation device for you to observe your reality. Do you understand this? Let's go back to the sense of sight. If you were to be in a room and there would be a bright light in the room shining in your eyes, annoying you quite literally, do you choose to start focusing on it every day? Do you choose to sit in front of that light every day and expose yourself to it as it hurts your sense of sight? No. You choose to move the light source away, or you choose to dim the light. And yet with time, which is also a sense, you choose to focus on it every single year. It has increased. Every single year of your life. And this has been going on for a lot of lifetimes. The focus on time, where you begin to lose the fact that time is merely a translation device known as a sense to translate your reality, has increased. Think back 300 years.